Hello my friends, it's another great day to be in the Philippines. This video, you're going to see what it's like to give back to the community. Something we don't see from expats like myself much here on YouTube. But I'm telling you, if you do come here, this is an experience that you can have. This is a part of having an enriched life here in the Philippines, which I could not get in San Diego on my Social Security income. Well, I just came back to get my camera in case you guys want to share this experience. I had some leftover bamboo, and I've got another guy that is a laborer that works for me, and my friends at the Jeepney terminal been sitting out in the sun. It's very hot. Bought a tarp for them. The tarp is starting to tear. So what we're doing today is we've got some bamboo poles, and I hired this guy that works for me, and we're going to go down and build a shelter so the drivers in Porac don't have to sit out in the sun. So stay tuned. This is our driver for the day. Volunteering his time. And you all know Lalaboy. Yeah, the master of all things bamboo. I'd like to thank my good friend Jose Louis for donating his time and fuel and energy into helping us transport this bamboo down there to the Jeepney terminal. Stay tuned. This video is about a privilege that we have here in the Philippines, and it's really added to the quality of my life. It's rarely ever discussed. I don't see this in many videos. Here we are unloaded and getting ready to put the first piece up at the top. We got a nice long straight one for that. I bought that tarp about 6 weeks ago, and you can't see it from here, but it started to tear because of the angle and the wind that was blowing on it. Plus it's heavy. So we need to build a frame under it in order to keep it from tearing and falling down. Also, there's a lot of heat from that, and the way that it kind of is drooping down there, you can see, and there's a lot of heat from that. So if you're sitting there, it's very uncomfortable. Where that guy, as you can see, is almost touching his head. So as part of the frame, I wanted to build it up off maybe about 5 feet high. There on top of the table, and this is the tools we have to work with. And he's wiring that up right now. And from there, the tarp will be wired to that and be added a lot of extra loops holding it in place. So instead of having 6 places that it ties up, it'll have like 12 or 14. Here we are a few minutes later, and you can see where it's getting tied up in there. In a few seconds, they're going to pick up the entire table and move it down with him still standing on it to the next spot. How's that for Filipino teamwork? There you go. That's Javier in the gray t-shirt and Roger in the red t-shirt. And here they're moving Lullaboy down so he can get the next place to tie it up. That's Elmer there in the black t-shirt, and he is supervising. Such a nice guy. Served 2 terms as barangay captain. Here we can see Lullaboy fashioning pieces for the framework that will hold up the tarp. People are just sitting around kind of watching what he's doing. Not necessarily knowing exactly what he's doing, but he knows it. Now he's drilling holes in the bamboo, and we'll put these little bamboo spikes that he made through, and with those he'll use that to wire the pieces together, make the framework. He's been working with bamboo like this for about 50 years, knows what he's doing, so it's basically going to be authentic. You'll see in a couple seconds what's that for. He's going to use those spikes to help wrap around the wire to hold it together. I'm going to ramble for a second and explain what's going on here exactly. And put yourself in my position. And anyway, this is a new area where they move the jeepneys. The other area is being torn down and rebuilt. So when they built this new area, I don't think anybody really took into consideration the sunshine and the angle of the sunshine and the shade. So I walk up one day and I see all these guys sitting out in the sun, or they try to move it up under their metal piece where the jeepneys are supposed to pull in. So I had the idea of putting a tarp over it, so I went around shopping for tarps. I found a tarp for about 15 bucks. And so I brought it back, my little twine, and they put it up. Well, with the wind and so on, and the weight of this thing, it's 15 by 12, I think, it started to tear. So then I decided I better get some poles in here or this thing's not going to last. So I had some extra bamboo at home, and my friend Lillaboy, who is the master of all things bamboo, and we came down here to build a framework for the tarp to sit on top of. So it would work. Being built up off of that little green railing there will also move the heat away. And the parts and labor of this second phase of the shelter is about $16 to $17. Now, the point of this video is that because the cost of living here is so low, I can afford to do things like this. $32, $30 for this entire shelter, bamboo, labor, tarp, everything. Nobody asked me to do this or suggested that someone do it. It just occurred to me, and I wanted to. I mean, I know it's not a library or sports center, but it made me feel good to do this. With the cost of living and the prices of things in San Diego, there's no way I could have done this or even really contributed to it except for just labor. This is an entire new dimension to my life and my lifestyle here. You know, they say money can't buy happiness, but when I look at these guys with smiles on their faces because it's so much better, it makes me happy. It makes them happy. And I get to do it with just Social Security income. That's it. You know, in San Diego, it never really occurred to me to do things like this because it just was never an option. But being here in a culture where everyone is so kind, it's just natural for me to think of ways to give back. Now, in my life, many times I had ideas that I would like to have done for people that I cared about and that I loved. It's occurred to me, and I've expressed it this way, that in America we make friends. In the Philippines we make family. So it did occur to me to do this for the community.